Hi everyone and welcome back to the Lead Her podcast. I have a big win to share with you all today, and I want to share some key lessons that I learned from this win as well, from such a simple thing in life. It is just really reminded me of things that we need to all do more of. So I have driven in Europe for the first time this week, and some of you will think that is so silly, that is so easy, but we all have or things that we've never done before, and I've made it to I think I'm 34. I've made it to like 34 years old and I've never driven in Europe. I've always just took the easy option and left other people to do it, or I've just not had the opportunity to. Other people have wanted to do the driving, so I've just always managed to leave it. And to be honest, I actually was always really scared to do it. And we were here last year and I didn't drive the car once, and Joe loves driving, which is great, and it's nice to be a passenger princess. But from not driving here last year, we were here for about 6-7 weeks, and by the time we got back to the UK, I actually felt a little bit nervous driving, a wee bit uncomfortable driving, a wee bit as if like I'd forgotten how to do it, because 7 weeks of not doing something is a long time. Like, you'll know yourself if you've maybe, if you know how to speak another language, for example, or you're really good at maths, or you're really good at teaching. Like a lot of our school teachers actually say, at Lead Her members that are teachers, they'll say that they almost forget how to teach after the 6-7 week holiday over summer. So coming back and not driving for so long, I was almost a wee bit conscious of like, oh, what am I doing? This doesn't feel as natural. So all year I've been thinking, right, next time we go back to Europe, I need to grab the bull by the horns. I need to really do it. And last time we were here, I didn't really feel the need to learn because we go to the gym together. It was short term, it was fine. I just kind of got away with it and never tried it. And like I said, Joe's happy to drive, so I just kept going with it and never got round to it. And actually, probably looking back, I was avoiding it. So I knew this time round, once I got home, I was like, oh, I should have really gave it a go, because there's going to be a time in my life when I'm in Europe by myself, and I would rather maybe have a car than taxi everywhere. Or there might be a time in Europe when we maybe move here and we could have family and I wouldn't be able to get around because I'm too scared to drive here. And where we stay, there's like a big dual carriageway, and the slip roads are like, not slip roads, like they don't merge in to the dual carriageway, they literally turn in, and you're on the opposite side of the car, so they're quite tricky. And I sometimes help Joe with them. So I would always help Joe, so I was like, God, if I need to help Joe, then there's no chance I'm going to be able to do it. But when we got back to UK, I thought, that's such a shame, I didn't give it a go. If we go again, I'm definitely going to try. So fast forward the clock, we're here. We got 2 weeks in, and I thought, I've not given it a go yet, and I know I'm going to regret doing not trying. And I know, like, and you guys will know as well, see, when you don't do something, it builds up and it builds up and it builds up to a bigger thing, and you've maybe got a thing right now that you're not doing because you're so scared, and you've just built it up, this anxiety around the situation. It might be a conversation with someone, you're thinking of all the things that are going to go wrong. It's maybe even something as simple as going to the gym. You're like, I can't go to the gym, I'm too scared to go to the gym, everyone's going to laugh at me, I'm going to do something silly, or I can't change job because no one's going to hire me. We create all these insane beliefs in our head, and I was like that with the driving. I was really scared to do it, and because we've got the car here, I was like, what happens if something happens to the car and we can't get home? Like, thinking of all these situations. And then I got up, I knew this week, I was like, right, I need to do it, so I was going to do it on the Monday. But because we're getting up and we're going to the gym at 6:30 in the morning, it's dark, and I said to Joe, we need to learn to drive. He's like, yep, totally agree. But we got up on the Monday and Joe straight away went in the front of the car just out of habit, and he's probably not thinking, and we just want to get there. We don't want to think about teaching and learning and really thinking at that time in the morning. So I was like, I'll just leave it, it's fine. And then after, again, I regretted it. I was like, I should have drove today. So on the Tuesday we did the same thing, and as soon as we got to the car, I said to Joe, I'm going to drive today. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, unless you don't think I should. And he's like, no, definitely, like, you do it, we'll take our time, it's fine, we're not in a rush. Straight away I was like, oh God. But I think whenever you come away from something and you've not done it, that's a sign for me that I need to learn it, I need to do it, even though I'm terrified and I'm scared of these slip roads, and I'm scared of the roundabout, and I'm scared of being on the wrong side of the car and the wrong side of the road, all the crazy Spanish drivers around me with all their bashes on the car. you could think of everything that could go wrong, and you could think of it being so scary. But I was just sitting down and I was like, I am so young. Like, there's people that are older than me that have never driven before and they're learning. There's people, like, I am so much more capable than I realise, and I am a good driver. And I just tried to speak to myself in this positive note of, you can do this, you are good at this. So I just tried to not let myself get negative and to worry about everything that could go wrong, and just know that I can drive, and know as well, if you take your time, you're going to be fine. So I went in the car. I'm just looking at our car just now where it's parked, and I put it in drive, and obviously nearly bumped into the wall in front of us. I actually was supposed to be in reverse, so it wasn't the best start. Put it in reverse, straight out, and we went to the gym, and I got help twice from Joe, and apart from that, I just felt this sense of like freedom. I just felt so like, what was I making that all about? Why was I making that such a big deal? This is so easy. And you guys can probably think to so many times in your life when like you've came over it and you've done something and you're like, oh, why did I make that such a big deal? That actually was never as bad as I thought it was going to be. We do it all the time, and I think it's when we get these situations and we get the butterflies in our tummy and we're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. It's a sign of just do it. Like, put your hand up and speak in that meeting, or go and start that hobby that you really want to do and you're terrified to do it. Go to the gym. Like, just do the thing, because as soon as you get over that hurdle, it's going to be easy. It's just the hurdle that's the hardest part. But once you get over it, you're like, man, like, how I could have lived the rest of my life just never driving here and being scared to, and being that person. Like, I always think to myself, I don't want to be that person that's scared to do something that's such a simple thing. So I didn't want to be that mum that wouldn't drive the car in Europe. I was like, no, like, you never know what's going to happen in life. Like, I want to have independency and I want to be confident to do stuff. So we drove to the gym, we drove back, and everything was fine. It was so easy, and I honestly, like I said, I just felt that relief off my shoulders of like, I can do this. It's fine, it's easy, it's so simple. And another thing that I did as well that might benefit you guys if you are scared about something is to plan for it, but not in a way that you need to plan and think about all the things going wrong. Okay, so plan for it. So if you are scared to go to the gym, what I would say is, like, have a gym plan, have a workout set out that you can do, exercises that you can do, exercises that you want to do, ones that you feel comfortable with, or if you don't feel comfortable doing anything, just go to a class or just jump onto a treadmill. It's just getting yourself in the door. But if you have a plan, it is so much easier, and you know all the exercises, you can go in and do it. But another thing I do as well is, like, maybe jump on Google, and you know when you're on Google Maps, like, you can actually see around the room. That means you can go, okay, the leg press is there, this is there, this is there, this is there, right, okay, I kind of know what it's like. You can also see on Google the busy time, so you can see it's really busy peak time. Okay, I'll maybe not go then, I'll go when it's quiet. So, like, you can really kind of create that situation before it happens. So for me, when I was in the car with Joe this time, I was really concentrating, and Joe didn't know this, and he actually commented on it after. He's like, oh, you've been really watching this time around, haven't you? And I was like, yep. Because a lot of the time when you're in the car and someone's taking you somewhere, you don't notice the turns, you don't notice really where you're going. So if I was to go myself, I'd need to put it in the sat nav because I wouldn't remember. I was like, right, this is where I go, this is a slip road, then I drive here, then I take this off the tunnel, and then that takes me here, then I go that roundabout, and then I go there, and then we're at the gym. I'd been practicing it with Joe every morning for the first 2 weeks here, that I was planned, I was ready, I was organised, and I was like, I know where I'm going. Rather than maybe be going, Joe, what turn off is it, and making it all flustered for myself, I was like, I know how to get here now. And that just filled me again with a wee bit more confidence that I could do it. For you, it's a gym plan, know where everything is around the gym. Or for me as well, like, if I was going for a job interview, when I did go for job interviews, which was a long time ago, I would Google who was interviewing me, what they were interested in, what they looked like, just so I could go in and I could see their face and I could visualise them, and also see them as a person. Like, they're a normal person, they've got a Facebook, for God's sake. Like, they aren't this direct or high person that's so different from you and going to look down from you. They're a human being. So just trying to, like, strip it back and make yourself prepared and organised for it. And I'd also make sure that I knew my shit about everything before I turned up for an interview. Yes, of course, I flunked some and did terrible in some, because this is all in a learning experience, but when I started getting good at them, I was like learning who I was speaking to and getting myself prepared and organised for that situation as much as I possibly could. Not thinking about all the things that are wrong and that I'm not good enough and I can't do this, because sometimes when you sit down and you start looking at your skills, you actually go, oh, actually I can do that and I can do that. And creating situations that you've done it, that you can then discuss that story and create that story at the interview process. So just like get yourself prepared and organised, get to that first hurdle and just jump over it, because I promise you it is going to be so blooming worth it, and it's going to be so much easier than you believe. And if you back yourself, oh my god, like that's just going to show them so much confidence that you can do it. And you need to believe in yourself, because I'll be frankly honest, no one else will. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to believe in you. No one else is going to push you, unless you've got a coach like myself. Like for our members, I'm telling them all the time, I'm like, you can totally do something. So having people like that in your corner can totally help as well. And the last thing that I learned, which is really helpful for you guys as well, is to take the time to teach other people something, or take the time to let other people catch up with you or to help you. Because sometimes we're all just going 100 miles per hour. For Joe, it's like, let's get to the gym, let's get here, let's get here, let's get here, let's do it. And he's like, I'll drive, I'll drive, I'll drive. Rather than maybe taking a step back and going, nope, Leanne, you're going to drive today. We're going to take our time. We're going to keep our eyes on the road. I'm going to spend time with you. I'm going to take time with you, because longer term, this is going to benefit him. So it's really, really good for you guys, if it's at home or if it's at work, anything at all, is that we always try and do it ourselves because it's easier. And we try and just push on at the housework and push on with the dishwasher and push on with the cooking. And not to say that you do all those things. I know some of you guys got amazing partners that do things for you, I know that. Or you've maybe got kids and stuff that do stuff for you as well, which is great. But maybe at work you've maybe stepped up a bit, but you're still taking on roles that you used to do because you don't have the energy and the time to teach people. But I just want you to know that being on the opposite side of that, and being the person that wanted to learn but didn't want to take up the time and was a bit scared to do it, and who was leaning back and didn't believe they could do it, having someone going, nope, you're going to do it, and knowing that you're giving them something, you're teaching them something. And yes, it's going to take time at first, and yes, it's an effort for you to have to teach them. Maybe it's not going to be done properly, maybe there's going to be some mistakes made, but you teaching them is going to give them such an amazing skill, but it's also going to give you more energy back as well. So give yourself more time to delegate, because it's going to give you more time back. So for Joe, we could drive to the gym, he can answer his messages at work, he can post on his social media. We went to the airport, so I've driven 3 days this week, which is amazing. So I'm going to try and do 1 day on, 1 day off, and we alternate it. So I'm really kind of keeping it up and just building that confidence now. But I drove all the way to the airport, which is like an hour long, and you know what airports are like, it's a bit mental. Drove all the way there this week, and it was absolutely fine. Again, it was amazing, and I just feel so free and I feel so good with it. But Joe could just sit away, and I was just following the sat nav there, and he just got loads of messages done, and picking family up for us. That's great, because now when we see family we can be present, and he's not having to drive there, drive back, do all these messages, speak to his family. He's like, his work was all done by the time we got to the airport. So that felt so good for me, to give him that space and that time. It must feel so good for him to have allowed me to drive and let me have that independency, so he could then do his work. So I want you to think, if there's, again, this is, I don't have children, I know I don't, but my mum was a single mum and she had to go to work. So at a very young age, maybe 12, 11, I was learning how to iron, I was doing the dishes, I was cooking dinner, I was cleaning the house. These are things people maybe would think children shouldn't do that. For me, it was an amazing skill. I always had a pristine uniform, I always took pride in my appearance. I loved helping mum and seeing mum coming home and being happy that I'd done all these things. I'd learned to cook. I love to cook now, and I think it can be really powerful sometimes to teach your children to do stuff, and it gives you so much time back, and it also gives them discipline, it gives them skills. So it's like, yeah, maybe start giving your kids more stuff to do, or maybe your partner. Some people have, I know you guys maybe have different jobs, like Joe will order more oil and I'll do more washing, and he'll be in charge of the electricity bills and I'll do Lola bills. Like, we have our things, but sometimes I'm like, do you know what, actually maybe I could delegate that to him and start asking him to do that now, and it's going to take me time. And sometimes this is really funny actually, and I'm glad I remembered this because I wanted to share it when I was thinking about doing this podcast. I was thinking I need to share this with you, and everybody laughs at this, and Joel laughs as well. But when and I actually posted this on my social media the other day, and I'm quite weird with the fridge. I like our fridge to have delegated places, okay? And sometimes like Joe will put something in the fridge and it'll be in a completely wrong place, like raw meat for example, and it's opened and he's not covered it. And rather than me just going, why have you not done that? Or shouting at him across the room or in another room, like, why have you put the chicken there and not covered it? Or why have you put the cheese and not wrapped the cheese up? Rather than ranting and raving, I'll be like, Joe, come here a minute. And he'll come over and be like thumping around, like, what is it? What have I done now? And I'm like, can you see why that's maybe not the best? Or why have you done that? And he'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, I just got really busy and I didn't think. And I'll be like, yeah, but you know that cheese all going to go hard now, right? And he'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. And then it never happens again. So sometimes like visually showing your partner things, bringing them to the situation and being like, look, what do you see maybe isn't ideal here? Because they're just sometimes like in a total different mindset from us. Like they think so differently from us that I think it's sometimes like when they see it visually, it's like, oh shit, I didn't even know I did that. Whereas we're like, they're doing it to wind us up, they're doing that to be bad, they're doing this to mean, like what the hell's wrong with them? So maybe sometimes like, yes, that's a pain in the bum for me to have to shout them through and to like be that moan, but that stops the situation happening again and again and again. So that's a really funny thing, and he does laugh at when I do it now. He comes over and he's laughing, he's like, what have I done now? And I'm like, look, and he's like, okay, yep, agreed. But it does make it click so much easier for him now. Anyway, so really simple basic thing, just learning how to drive in Europe has taught me so much. So to cover it up, get over that hurdle, stop putting yourself off, you back yourself, you can do it, you have overcame hard things before, you're not going to avoid hard things the rest of your life, or you're going to end up absolutely miserable. So push yourself to do those things because it's going to give you so much freedom, it's going to give you so much energy, and you need to realise how awesome you actually are. And if you're in a situation that's not making you feel like that, then get yourself out of it, because you honestly are better than you realise. So do the damn thing, stop overthinking it and making it a bigger thing than it is, because as soon as you do it, you're going to wish you did it earlier. Number 2 is, I think it is probably just planning and organising and getting ready for the situation as best as you possibly can, because sometimes just make the transition easier, like we said with the gym, with the interview process, with everything else in life. Is like, just see what you can watch YouTube videos before you go for your first singing lesson, or watch YouTube videos before you learn how to knit. Like, get yourself focused on the thing before you do it. And then lastly is delegate. Don't be scared to delegate. It's not you being a boss, it's not you being a moan, it's actually going to give you more time back. And yes, it's a pain in the butt to do, but it's going to be so worth it for the person you're helping, but also for you as well. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening as always, and I love hearing from you guys. So if anything you resonate to today or anything you enjoyed, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, have a fantastic week and I'll speak to you all soon.